Hi everybody. Today I'm going to focus on the in detail van build series that I've been doing, and today I'm going to focus on the bulkhead and the floor, um, since those were the next step after the insulation and the walls and ceiling. All right, so here's my partition, my bulkhead. I mean, it's not something very complicated, you know. I'm sure if someone wants to do it, anybody can do it. The reason I did it, mainly because of stealth. If I wasn't concerned with that, I probably wouldn't do it, because that gives you more room. In here, you can turn, come over here, you can turn this seat around like Will has, Will Burson, and other people have the same thing. I mean, it just gives you a feeling of more space in here. But since I'm concerned with stealth and, you know, it's cold outside. It's a little better in here. My hair is a mess. Anyway, so what? After it's been cut and fitted, it was sanded down with three types of sandpaper from from, like, what did I use? Sometimes I used 80 grit, sometimes I used 150, all the way down to 400. So everything has 3 coats of sandpaper, then 1 coat of pre-stain, then stain, which I would let stay for about 15 minutes, and then I would wipe that off, and then I would let it dry for about 8 hours, and then after 8 hours I would sand it down again, and then use a wipe-on polyurethane. That's, you know, you just wipe it on. It's very easy, and then that would dry for about 3 to 4 hours, and then I would repeat the process. You know, sand it down again, do another coat, and I would do 3 coats of wipe-on poly. So very intensive labor. The last time, one of the videos that I made, I said that the bulkhead was 1.5 inches thick. Well, it's not 1.5 inches thick. The inside on this plywood and that plywood is 1/2 inch thick, and then I have 1.5 inch piece of poplar to make up the space. And inside it, I have foam, and I have 2 pieces of Reflectix, 1 piece on either side. All right, so let me show you some pictures, and I'll narrate the rest of the way. All right. So the first thing I did before I put the floor down was to apply some of this Thermotech that I bought. It's a sound deadener and insulating material, and I didn't have enough, but I had enough to cover the seams and the wheel wells. Then I put down 1/2 inch
polysio foam covered with all the seams with metal tape. Then I put down this underlayment, subfloor underlayment. Then I put down my floor that I bought at Lowe's. It all fits nice together. It's not screwed down to anything. It just held by the walls and by the wheel wells, and eventually uh, cabinets and stuff were screwed to the floor, so it's nice and secure. Alright, the next thing I did, if you see right behind the driver's seat, there's that piece of wood that's jutting out. There's like a rib right behind that seat, and what I had to do is I had to fill a little gap with a little piece of stock wood, and then I applied that, I screwed in that piece of wood, and that's what I screwed in some of my panels to. Right above the seat you see a piece going across. That piece was very important. That piece was key to holding up the panels. Since I didn't want to screw anything to the ceiling, I used that piece to hold those panels up, and it was key that that piece be in a precise location. It's only held at the ends by two very long screws screwed right into the ribs. The bulkhead section behind the driver's seat was the easiest to do of the two. And the first thing I did was I got some paper and I got a compass and I got a pencil, and I drew out the curvature of the van. Once I had that done, I transferred that to a piece of plywood that I had previously cut to fit the height, and then I brought that piece of plywood back in, and obviously I had to trim it and retrim it quite a few times. Then I had to figure out how wide I was going to have that section, and once I figured that out, then I used a square to square that piece up. And here are the two pieces cut, sanded, and in various stages of preparation. The next step was insulation. I sandwiched two pieces of Reflectix, which are a 1/4 inch each, with two pieces of 1/2 inch polysio foam, and I held everything together with spray glue. I then brought the piece inside, and if you notice there on the right side, there's two pieces of 3/4 by 1.5 inch poplar. I did that for extra strength there at the edges. I screwed everything in on the sides by the wall, and then I screwed everything to the floor using an L bracket and 1/2 inch metal screws. Then after insulating that gap where the L bracket is, I brought in my finishing piece, and this side was completed. Alright, so the passenger side was really fun to do. I mean, that was really hard. I had to figure out all these angles. I had to figure out how far the door was going to come in, how far this was going to stick out. I had to cut these little blocks to fit the contour of that angle, since I didn't want to use plywood and try to bend that to that shape. So I used these little blocks to do that. Then the next thing I did the same thing as the other side. I started with a 1/2 inch polysio on the bottoms, sprayed with glue to hold it in place. Then two pieces of Reflectix, and then another piece of polysio. Then I used the nail gun to put in some little nails to hold these little pieces in place until I had a chance to put a screw in there. You can see there all the pieces together. I did the same thing on the right side as there on the left. I cut a piece of L bracket using 1/2 inch screws to screw it down to the floor. Here you can see the piece in place, and then I put in the finishing piece of plywood, and you can see the little edges, how the blocks came out, and here you can see the finishing piece of plywood, and that was a 1/4 inch plywood that I used with the 1/2 inch nails to secure it in place. And here you can see the bulkhead finished. The two sides are up before I installed the door. The door was done pretty much the same way as the bulkhead with the insulation. Originally, I did have the door at 2.5 inches thick, but then to make it fit properly, I took out a 1/2 inch. I used a piano hinge there to secure it to the bulkhead. I did have to trim the door a little bit in different places since my bulkhead was not perfectly square. Very hard to do when you're by yourself. Uh, and here is my bulkhead with the door as I have it now. This picture was just taken today. And I hope you enjoyed it. Uh, Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please press the like button and subscribe. Thank you.
Bulkhead. So let me show you how that went. Oop, I gotta open the door. Falling down, falling down. All right, the rest of the way. All right, let's go. It's coming. Almost there. All right, enjoy it. All right. What was I saying? The something partition.